Hey y'all, my name is Deliah. I am a doctor of physical therapy with a clinical focus in pediatrics and sports. I am a veteran women's flag football player. I've been playing since 2009. Today we're going to go over some hip mobility exercises, specifically hip internal and external rotation, and why it's important for flag football players who are working on change of direction, increasing speed and explosiveness, and for injury prevention. So hip mobility is a very important factor in preventing injury down the kinematic chain. So the kinematic chain is basically the connection of all the major joints throughout the body. I'm going to focus on the part of the kinematic chain that includes the lumbar spine, which is your low back, your hip joint, your knee joint, your ankle joint. When you lack hip rotation, you compensate in other areas of your body, such as your low back or your knees or your ankles. When you don't have the rotation in the hips, you get a little bit more twisting in the knee, twisting in the low back, and that can cause 1, discomfort, 2, muscle injuries such as some strains or tears, and 3, ligament issues such as ACL tears, MCL tears, and internal structures of the knee can become damaged such as the meniscus. Hip mobility is a very important part of my dynamic warm-up personally. As someone who suffers from chronic low back pain, I do these exercises religiously. So today we're going to go over my quick 10-minute hip mobility routine. It includes the exercises called quadruped hip cars, 90-90 airplanes, 90-90 empty cans, and 90-90 hip flows, and half kneel runner stretch. These are my go-to exercises, and then I follow up the hip mobility with some stability exercises using a band, and we will discuss that in another video. We're going to start with the quadruped hip car. Quadruped is just a fancy word for being on your hands and knees, which is like the crawling position you see with kids. And hip cars, it stands for controlled articular rotations. So in this exercise, you are trying to make a big circle with your knee to get as much rotational movement at your hip joint as you want to, so that you're really firing those muscles up and working on your range of motion there. So we're going to start on the hands and knees here. You want to make sure that your pelvis is tucked under so that your core is engaged. From here, you're going to pretend like you have a large pencil on your knee, and you're going to draw as big of a circle as you can. So you're going to start by bringing the knee up, out, back, and down, and then you're going to reverse it. It's going to go back, out, front, and down. So this is hip flexion, abduction, extension, internal rotation, and then we're going to reverse it. So the goal is with these is to go nice and slow, keep the core engaged the whole time, belly button tucked in. And then from here, you're making as big of a circle as you can, nice and slow. I usually do about 5 of these forwards, 5 of these backwards, keeping the core engaged the whole time. Next exercise is in the 90-90 position. 90-90 means that you are making an L shape with the front leg, L shape with the back leg. You want the knee at 90 degrees, the hip at 90 degrees, same thing with the back leg. From this position, you want to sit up nice and tall. Try to keep your spine straight. So the first one is called 90-90 airplanes. You're going to keep your outside hand on the ground, and your inside hand is going to be up. You're going to keep a flat back. From here, you're going to try to take your chest towards your front knee while maintaining that erect spine. And you're going to feel this stretch in the outer hip. You might feel it a little bit in your hip back here too. So from here, I'm going to keep my back flat, get my knee down as far as I can to the front. Come back up. If that feels too easy, you can go both hands. Same thing, keep the spine straight as far as you can. Come back up. Again. Our next exercise in the 90-90 position is called empty cans. So this is focusing on this back leg. We're going to keep this front knee pinned to the ground. What I mean by that is I don't want to see the knee up here. There shouldn't be space between your knee and the surface that you're sitting on. So keep this front knee flat on the ground. I'll usually take this front hand and I'll place it gently on the front knee to keep it down. And then from here, you're going to lift onto your big toe on the back leg, and then lift your knee up as high towards the sky, the ceiling, wherever you are, and back down. So you should feel this a lot in your back hip. This is working on hip external rotation, trying to lift it up as high as you can. See how I'm keeping my chest kind of squared towards the front, keeping my front knee down, moving nice and slow. 'Cause So our next exercise is called 90-90 hip flows. We're going to start in the 90-90 position once again. We're combining the empty can and the airplane in the 90-90 position together to flow back and forth between both sides and between both movements. So we're going to start here. Again, keep the spine nice and straight. You're going to start with an empty can on the back leg. Lift up on the big toe. Open this leg up as high as you can. Once you feel like you don't have any range of motion here, you're going to lift the arms up. You're going to flip to the other side. Now we're in 90-90 on the other side. From here, you're going to airplane down, chest to the front leg, come back up. Now we're flipping it. Big toe, empty can, hip flow, flip the legs, airplane down. Remember, we're doing these nice and slow. If you feel like you are unable to hold yourself up as you're flipping this way, you kind of round the spine, you can do the modified 90-90 hip flow with our hands behind us, which I'll demonstrate right now. So again, we're going to start with empty can on the back leg. You're going to take your hands, place them right behind you. Keep your back straight. You're going to flip your legs over. When you get to the other side, you're going to bring your hand up. 90-90 airplane. Same thing. Hand goes behind. Flip the legs. Bring that arm up. 90-90 hip flow. Our last exercise is the runner stretch. So we're going to start in the half kneel position, which is just another word for a lunge. Except for we're going to take this front leg and we're going to turn it out. Then from here, I'm going to take this stance leg that I'm on, and you see how it's at a 90-degree angle here and here. I'm actually going to take this knee and place it slightly outside of that 90-degree angle so I can get a little bit of a stretch in my groin. Then from here, I like to put my hands behind my head because it helps me keep my spine straight. From here, make sure that you're pushing your knee out. Tuck your pelvis under. Think about sucking your belly button in. Then we're going to lean as far as we can towards that outside leg and back up. Push the knee out. Lean towards the leg. Keep the chest up and back up. So I hope you enjoyed my very educational, hopefully not boring video on hip mobility and why it's important, especially in young girls and women, because we are more prone to ACL tears than our male counterparts. And I'm going to be posting a lot more videos like this because I just want to educate my fellow women and young girls on the importance of investing in your body and really taking care of your body so that you can play for a long time. Please drop a comment. Let me know how these exercises go if you give it a try. Or if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you guys so much.